Good morning, friends. Welcome to GoOnlineTrainings.com. We had seen what is a Power Query, and we knew that uh, what is a Power View and how to write DAX and everything. I think some of them already undergone this, right? The last topic in Power BI will be Power BI Service, right? So it will be for some 8 to 10 classes will be there. So we're going to be understanding Power BI service and probably this week and next week at least some week also it may be there or at least for mid of the next week it will be there. So 8 to 10 classes are pending. So that I'm going to be completing. So Power BI service is very, very important topic. You will get much more questions from where? From Power BI service as well as from the DAX. Then the remaining questions are going to be asked from SQL Server only. 60 to 70% of interview questions are going to come from SQL Server. Then remaining 20% are from DAX and Power BI, especially when you say you know Power BI, what kind of a reports you have developed and what kind of a DAX queries you have implemented and what are the challenges that you have faced and what is your data warehousing architecture and how do you pull the data from different data sources, do you know SQL? So all these things are asked, and a lot of other things also people are going to be asking you as part of DAX and Power BI service. So these are the new two topics that you need to study and practice more and more in order to face the interview. Okay. So at least 70 to 80% of interview questions you should be able to answer. So 20% variation, even I will not be able to answer because so people will ask based on their experience, right? So even I know Power BI very well. I will not be able to answer at least 20% question. Not only, Power BI, any topic, take SSIS or SQL Server or Java, .NET, anything. So if I ask, some questions, even the opposite person also may not be knowing at least some 20 to 30%. So that will be there everywhere. So minimum 80% of the questions you can answer from my videos. So you don't look into a special, interview questions as part of your preparation, right? So I have told you how to create CVs. I have given you two, classes. Two videos are already been uploaded, and I have also given, two sample CVs. And only thing is that you need to change the projects. So roles and responsibilities you need not change. Just simply change the name of the projects and send it to me for review, so that you should be able to ready with the CVs and how to prepare them and what kind of a question they may be asking. All these things slowly you should start preparing, guys. Okay, already people have learnt all the SQL Server and SSIS and data warehousing. Power BI means almost 80 to 90% syllabus is done for you. You should ready now. Right? So after this, we'll have today data warehousing as well. After data warehousing in MSBA, I'm going to be starting with SSRS. So after SSRS, again, you may have SSIS. If you wanted to start SSIS, probably this month, not this month, next month end, or if not, October end, we will be able to have in the month of November because October we have a festival in India, so Dasara. So many people are going to be there. I'm also not going to be there for Dasara for 3 to 4 days. Okay, so if not October end, and probably you may have the new batch for SSIS in November. So meanwhile, you complete whatever be the pending activities and the DAX, other stuff you complete in this October month because almost we are 20, 7th today of September, 28th, 29th, 30, 3 more days are there. And October month where you should be able to complete everything. Now, DAX will get over, everything will get over for you, for everybody, and you prepare CVs and send it to me for review. If you need any other, documentation and everything, so please talk to my team so that they will be able to help you. Clear, guys? So that is what you need to work on, and uh, then you should be able to go into the next level. So that is attending the interviews from probably November or mid-November. You can plan. Okay, if the SSIS starts in this month, then it will take 25 classes minimum to complete SSIS. SSIS is mandatory. I am repeating you. Don't ask me saying that is it mandatory? It is mandatory. Don't ask me any question. Period. Clear. It is mandatory, and you have to know very well. Even though you know SQL Server and in SSIS very well, even though you don't know Power BI, you can get a job. I'm serious about it. If you know SQL Server very well, if you know SSIS very well, SSIS also drag and drop software, right? If you know only SSIS and SQL Server, you can easily get into IT industry. That is also you have a choice. Or one more choice is SSIS, SQL Server, and Power BI. That is also one more choice. If you're good in, SSIS and SQL Server, you can easily upload a CV, guys. So that is for sure. Okay, yeah. Now, what is a Power BI service and what all we're going to be learning? All these things we will discuss one by one today. Okay. So, Power BI topics, I'll include some more. So, create a Power BI service account, log in into Power BI service, create multiple reports in Power BI service using data set using multiple developers, create dashboards on reports. So today, this week we'll talk about what is a data set, what is a report, what is a dashboard. So all these things, and I'll include some more topics. Okay. So these are a few, Power BI service topics that we're going to be covering whole week. So whole week means minimum, 8 to 10 classes are pending as part of Power BI service. Okay. So the agenda is what is a Power BI service and OLTP versus OLAP. And normally we don't create reports on OLTP. What is OLTP? OLTP means fresh data. We always, create the reports on OLAP. OLAP means historical data. Okay. Data sets means we're always talking about OLAP data only. What data sets you create? Do you create OLTP data sets? No. We get data of OLTP. OLTP means what? Fresh data. So nobody is going to be giving you fresh data and ask you to create a report. They'll give you historical data, maybe in Excel files, maybe in flat files. They'll give you historical data. Historical data means OLAP data or data warehousing data. That is what we understood, right? OLAP means data warehousing or historical data. So data sets means, remember, always it is OLAP data set. It is not OLTP data set. We always create reports on OLAP. So and what is a data set? And reporting requirements, dashboard requirements. So one data set will have one or more reports and dashboards, blah, blah, blah. Do not create many data sets. So all these things we'll discuss today. Share the reports with the clients. Now, first of all, what is a Power BI service? It is a Azure cloud-based rental server. I told you, you are creating a lot of reports, right? You're creating a lot of reports. You're creating a lot of reports. What do you mean by reports here? Report will have a Power Query steps. You will be able to extract the data from multiple sources. You perform a lot of ETL operations and transformations especially, and you're going to be extracting the data from here. And after extracting the data will get loaded. And here, what are we going to be having? We are going to be doing a lot of data modeling, and you are going to be creating a lot of DAX formulas. Clear? And on top of that, you're going to be creating what is called a report visualization. There is two things that you need to understand. Get the data, step number one. And step number two is that you should be able to create a lot of new columns, new DAX functions. And what is ready? Data is ready. When you apply, step number one is, Power Query. Step number two is, this one. Okay, Power Pivot model. So you get the data, perform ETL operations. And step number two, you do the get the data modeling, plus you perform a lot of DAX. Okay. So if you're doing step one and step two, what is ready? The data set is ready. Where the data set is ready? Data set is ready here. Okay. So what kind of a data you're going to be getting? Completely old data only. Nobody is going to be giving you fresh data. They'll give you last month sales or last 10 months sales or last 10 years of sales, maybe in Excel file, maybe in raw file, maybe in XYZ format. So always you're going to be getting a data from multiple source systems, maybe SQL Server, Oracle, Excel files, so data warehousing systems. So in the training field only we use Excel sheets. I'm telling you, you never ever get lots of data from the Excel sheets. You have to be good in data warehousing. You should be good in SQL Server. You should be good in SQL joins and writing subqueries, case statement, this one, that one. You have to practice SQL a lot. Clear? So you apply step number one, you apply step number two. So you create what is called as a data set. Okay, so data set means your data is ready. What kind of a data set it is? It is OLAP data set. What do you mean by OLAP data set? Old data, historical data, cleaned data, and data is already stored in the Power Pivot. So data set creation is one step. So after that, what you do? After you deploy this data set, you deploy this data set. Clear? So create a data set is one thing. So you create a data set. So after that, what you do, you create a lot of visualizations or you create a lot of reports. This is step number two. Okay. Because if you don't have a data, if you don't have a data, can I create a Power View reports? Using a Power View, you will not be able to create any reports because data set itself is not ready. If you divide the parts, one is called creating a data set is the step number one. Step number two here, then you go in for a creating a report. You go in for the reporting, the creating the report. Who will be creating a data set? People who are good in transformation, people who are good in DAX. Okay, if you know DAX very well, if you know DAX very well, then you should be part of, data set creation, right? If you're good in the visualization and you will be able to create a lot of reports. Okay. If I wanted to create a report, I need to have a proper data set. So the step number one is that we have to create a data set. So data set creation means what? You need to get the data, extract the data, transform the data, load the data, apply lot of conditions, lot of limitations, lot of filters, lot of things you do it. Then you write a lot of DAX. In the DAX, what all you do? In the DAX, what all you do? So you will be able to create as part of DAX, what we do? We are going to be creating relationships, any new column, new information to be created or not, that you have to know. So if you wanted to create a new column, new measure, new table, so all these things can be achieved with the help of a DAX. People who do not know DAX, don't worry about it. We're going to be learning after Power BI service a DAX, data analytical expressions. Clear? So that is what is very, very important, guys. Okay, so as part of Power BI service. What is a Power BI service? I told you Power BI service is nothing but Azure cloud-based rental server. This is the rental server where whatever be the reports that we have created, that you're going to be deploying. Okay, to share and deploy the reports and manage the reports. So managing means apply a security or only user one can see the report, user two cannot see the report, user 3 again can see the report. Okay, and whenever we go to the Power BI, we always refresh. When you modify something, what normally we do, we always click on a refresh, that is manually. But once you create a reports and deploy to the rental server, rental means cloud. What cloud? It is Azure cloud. What is Azure? Azure is a platform where Microsoft is giving some services for rental, some server for rental. What kind of a server? It is a Power BI server. So this Power BI server is called as a Power BI service, which is Azure cloud based rental server. It is not free, right, guys? So whenever normally we go, for example, I'm getting some data here. So let me go to transform data. I will be able to get some data here. Let me go to new sources. I wanted to get large amount of data. I go to Power BI. go to the data, and I have lot of data. Let me take Adventure Works retail data, right? I wanted to include all this customer table, dim time table, products table, sales table, all the data I'm going to be including. Tomorrow, so we are saying it is 7 day, old data. We always refresh like this, right? So refreshing, I am able to do it manually here. But once I create a data set and when I wanted to, deploy this report, so what happens now? Deploy this, project, what happens? This project will get deployed. Tomorrow, any data changes here. Tomorrow, any data changes in this file. Could be you modified some file or you added some column. Data got modified. So we have to automatically refresh. So where do you refresh automatically? Because you have already created this and deployed this to the Power BI service. So developer is not going to be refreshing manually. So to go here and click on the refresh button. This is not the way. So automatic refresh button also should be happening. So that is also comes under part of manage the reports. Okay. So Power BI service means what? It is a cloud server. Cloud means I told you rental. Who's going to be doing the rental business? So Azure. Who's Azure? Azure is a Microsoft cloud business. Okay, they have given business name is Azure, and we have AWS, Amazon Web Services. Then we have a Google Cloud. Lot of companies are available. So where you can take a rental, but Azure is from Power BI is from Microsoft. Definitely, Microsoft recommends their own platform called Azure. So if you wanted to deploy your report, where is the report that is available now? The report is available in your machine. So this is my machine. I created a report. Now I wanted to deploy to the Power BI service. What is Power BI service? It is server. What server it is? Azure server. So you should be able to deploy. If you wanted to deploy, first you have to know the login, right? If you wanted to go here, you should have a login to get into that. For example, I wanted to create a Monster account. So first you need to go to monster.com, which is a cloud-based platform to upload your CVs, right? You have to have a login ID, then only you should be able to deploy. So you create lot of reports. This is a Power BI desktop. This is a desktop software we are using to create lot of Power BI reports. But if the report is available within my computer, how my manager is going to be seeing my report? I have to send him, sir, this is my report I have created, tell me your email ID, sir, I will send it. So that is not the thing. So we have to create a report. Not only me, there is one more Power BI developer. He is also creating the reports. His reports, your reports, every report has to go to Power BI service. What is a service? So this is a paid rental server where you can keep your reports. So if you wanted to keep your reports here, the first one is that you need to have a login ID and password, and you have to know what is the URL also. Without a URL, can you go to any server? You have to go to www.facebook.com, monster.com, or naukri.com, or abc.com. So this is a cloud based. Cloud means rental, and it is an online portal, online server where you should be able to deploy your reports. Where are we creating the reports? So Power BI desktop is a software going to be used to create a report. So you create a report from America. I'm going to be creating a report from India. So we are working for a company called Amazon. So you and me are remotely working for Amazon company. So your reports and my reports need to be deployed to this server. What is the server called as? Power BI service. So if you wanted to go into this, you have to know the URL and you have to get the login ID. So Gmail and Outlook, the public IDs are not going to work. I'm going to be giving you goonlinetrainings.com, emails. I'm going to be creating and distributing couple of emails so that with the help of that, you should be able to log in into Power BI service. Otherwise, you will not be able to deploy or share your things to the Power BI service. Clear? So to create a report, we don't need any login. But if you wanted to deploy from this machine or from this machine, you have to, you should have a login ID and credentials. Clear? And you have to know what is the Power BI service that you need to have it. Clear? So if you wanted to go into, if you wanted to go into Power BI service, so this is the URL that we're going to be using. What is the URL we're going to be using? So app.powerbi.com. So using this, you should be able to go to Power BI service URL. Go to start. You go to the Chrome or Internet Explorer or your, Chrome or Edge, whatever you have it. So what is the URL I'm talking about? app.powerbi.com. So this is the URL. You need to have a URL, right? app.powerbi.com login. It is going to give you like this. Click on this app.powerbi.com. So this is what is called Azure cloud-based Power BI service. So this is what is I'm able to log in. So 10 days left. It is going to be giving you some information. So this is the portal. Now I wanted to sign out. I wanted to sign out, and again I wanted to go to Chrome and I wanted to give app.powerbi.com, right? So app dot what? Powerbi.com. So I wanted to open this. It will ask you uh, one account information like this. This should not be a gmail.com. This cannot be outlook.com. Any public domain email IDs are not taken. You need to have a private domain. So goonlinetrainings.com is a private domain. Amazon.com is a private domain. Clear? Microsoft.com is a private domain. It is a business email. So when you have, Bhaskar at gmail.com, bhaskarjogi@live.com, outlook.com, yahoo.com, all these mails will not work. You will not be able to register. So if you wanted to work with this, you have to have a user ID and password. User ID will be a private domain email ID that I have to give it. So I'm going to be using PBI Bhaskar at the rate goonlinetrainings.com. I will create lot of email IDs like user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4, user 1 go at the rate goonlinetrainings.com, user 2 at the rate goonlinetrainings.com. Like that, I will create some, some 5 to 6 email IDs. I will be sharing the email ID and the password so that you will be able to log into this portal. Click on next. My networking team, they will be set up, they'll set up all these email IDs probably today or tomorrow. They'll be distributing it so that you will be able to give user one at the rate goonlinetrainings.com. They will, send the uh, passwords also to you. Click on next and it will ask you password. I have given the password. Now when I sign in, it is going to be now, it is going to be signing in and I logged into app.powerbi.com. What is this? It is a server. It is server only. So from where you're able to see this means it is a website actually. It is a portal. It is a server. It is a website. Clear? So this is what is the one that you need to have it. So once you got here, you have to create a workspace. You have to go here and create a workspace and where you should be able to create your reports and everything. For example, I go here, I log in. I'm going to be going to the workspace, create a workspace. So what workspace I'm going to be creating today? I wanted to create, let us say, Amazon underscore sales underscore reports. Okay. Reports. Let us say this is September 21, 2021. Okay. So today is 27 September. Like that, I'm going to be creating one project name. It is a project name. Create a workspace. Workspace is nothing but a folder. So normally you go to D drive, you create a folder, right? Creating a folder. So a folder is called as a workspace there. You create a folder. You create a folder, for example, I told in Amazon source files. I create one more folder here. What is the folder? The folder name is called Amazon Sales Reports. I'm going to be creating a folder here, right? In Windows, we'll say folder, but in Power BI service, we are going to be calling this as a, it is not a folder, it is a workspace. That's it. It is a space, it is a folder. So you need to give, so this will have sales reports, okay, sales reports for Amazon, something like this. You give the description and save this. So this is the step number one that you have to create first. Clear? Now I'm seeing here, if you want to sign out, go to the corner, you should be able to sign out, and there's a license type is called a pro. We'll talk about these license types also. And I have 10 days time to left. So it is a trial period. Otherwise, when the trial is over, so initially 60 days or 1 month, 60 days or 1 month, you will be able to use, or 3 months, I don't know. I think 180 days, I don't know. It is going to be free for you. So after 180 days, your reports are deleted if you don't make any payment. So otherwise, you need to make the payment. Every monthly, you have to make the payment so that the reports are live, so that anybody can go into app.powerbi.com. They can, they will get the user ID and password. They should be able to go and see your reports. Where the reports they can see the reports in the Amazon's sales reports, blah, blah, blah. So in this folder, you can have multiple reports. Okay, if you see this folder has a lot of subfolders: report, page-nated report, dashboard, data set, data flow, streaming data, upload a file. Lot of things we have it here, right? So what is the thing that you need to have? If you wanted to create a report, just now I told you, you have to have the data set first, right? On top of the data set, you create a report. Using a report, you create a dashboard. Clear? So without a data set, without a data, can we create a report? Can you create a dashboard? The answer is no. The step number one is that you have to create a data set and you have to deploy. So that is a data set. Data set means what? Data set means I told you. So create a data set called AdventureWorks. Now save the project as AdventureWorks dataset.pbx and share this. If you wanted to deploy, first you have to save this. If you don't save this, you will not be able to do anything. So I have created a workspace in Power BI called Amazon Sales Report. You can give any name. So for Amazon Report, Amazon Sales Report, something like this. You can give the name. So these are the things. Now I knew, I knew that this is the data I'm going to be using, and I have transformed and everything. So you should not create any visualizations now. Close and apply. You transform the data, you applied, you cleaned it, everything. Now close and apply. So when you close and apply, it is going to be loaded to where? To the Power Pivot model. It is going to be loading to where? Power Pivot model, right? It is detecting relationships. Now let me go and open my Power BI desktop. Now all the things are ready. Now you check for the data modeling. So all the things are properly having relationships or not. So this is very important step that you need to have it. This is not having any relationship. You have to give the proper relationships. Okay. Otherwise, it will give you a lot of issues. Now I knew that this table, I do not have proper relationship. I have to take order date and full date. I have to take order date and full date. I know the business I'm giving. If you don't know the business, you cannot give. So you will understand why the dim table and everything. So already people who know DAX, they will understand the purpose of dim table and everything. So properly the table should have relationships. If it is not there, you have to create the data modeling as part of here. Now the important part is that ETL is done, data modeling is done. So the important part is this. So this is where you created DAX. So DAX means what? DAX means I'm going to be creating a new information. So new information can be created with the help of this new measure, new column or a new table. So quick measure, it is for the automation purpose. Microsoft is given, we never use them. Okay. You may use a new measure, new column, new table. This is where we are going to be writing DAX. Clear? So first you perform ETL operation, then you do the data modeling, then you create a DAX where you create a new information. Create. So what are the information? What kind of reports the company wanted to have it? So do we have that column here? If the column is not there, I have to create either a new column. So I have to create a some calculation. Do we have the calculation here? Either I have to create a new calculation with the help of a new measure. So if the customer needs anything in the future reporting, so that you have to know today itself. Clear? What kind of reports that you have to create? That kind of information that you should know today. So that ETL means existing data, cleaned data, data modeling, relationship. So this is where people who are going to be working on the data sets, they should know more and more DAX. Clear? So DAX means a new measure, a new column, new table. See, so these three you're going to be using. So by applying these three steps, you're going to be creating what is called as a data set. Clear? So data set means it is nothing but Power Query plus what? Power Query plus Power Pivot. So this is what is the steps done. So when you complete this, the data set will be created. Clear? So after the data set is created, what you do? You deploy this data set first. Then later, you're going to be creating a visualizations. Clear? So that is what is very, very important. People, for example, there are five Power BI developers are working. So all five Power BI developers are not going to be working on the creating a data set. So two more guys are working on the DAX and Power Query and blah blah blah, and three more people are working for the visualization side. Okay, so drag and drop this column, drag and drop this column, then format it, bold it, do that, do that. So that will take a lot of time because formatting everything. So they should be good in visualization wise and formatting, bolding, blah blah blah. So but you should be good in Power Query, especially DAX. You have to be good in if you wanted to create a data set. Data set means what? It is a Power Query steps are applied, Power Pivot steps are applied, data modeling is done, relationships one to one, one to many, many to many, plus DAX queries also have written, and your new information also got added to this table. This table you have written DAX expressions. This table also have written everywhere. The DAX is written. Everything is ready. Then you deploy. Clear? What you deploy? You deploy the data set. You deploy the data set first. Clear? And ensure the data set is not more than 10 GB. Otherwise, it is not going to be taken. For example, I'll give you one scenario. You wanted to create, you have 10, 20 tables, and the requirement is 10 reports you need to have it. But the problem is you have 20 GB of data. When you have 20 GB of data, the problem, you will not be able to put the 20 GB of data here because uh, the 20 GB of data cannot be placed in Power Pivot because it is maximum size is 10 GB of data. So after compressing, you are getting 20 GB of data. So this size of data you are not going to be having. So what we can do? So what can be done here? Store 10 tables and create 5 reports. Now you split the data. For example, I need 20 tables and I need 10 reports. What you do? You divide the data into two data sets. Okay. So in this data set, you keep 10 tables and 5 reports you create. And the data size is now 10 GB. Now another 10 tables you could go here and you create remaining 6 reports here. And this size is again 10 GB. So this is a data set 1. This is a data set 2. Clear? So and the complete data is having a 20 GB of data. You may be having 100 tables or 20 tables, and you need to create some 10 reports. But the problem is 20 GB I cannot accommodate in my Power Pivot model. So that is the issue. So what you need to do it, you have to split the 20 GB into 10 GB and 10 GB, and you have to, include only those tables here and include only those reports here, and you need to publish them. So that is the one trick you should be able to apply. But if they give you 30 GB of data, 40 GB of data, so that complete data, on the completed data, we cannot create all the 100 reports. So what you need to split? Split into 10 GB, 10 GB, 10 GB. Some reports in the first is 10 GB, some reports in the next 10 GB, next some reports in next 10 GB. So that we can do. Store the another 10 tables and create another data set and 5 reports there. So we must know what data set we must create. We must know what reports we must have on the given data set, because there is a limitation called size. If they have 50 GB of data, 5 GB of data, 10 GB of data, 15 GB of data, you should know how to split the data, and you should also know and which data set, what kind of reports I have to create, right? Should I create only one data set, or should I create a two data sets? What is a data set here? Data set means it is having steps of Power Query plus steps of what? Power Pivot. So create a data set. So that is what you have to do it. Okay. So that is what is very, very important point. Clear, guys? So if you wanted to have something like this, if you wanted to have something like this, now you should know what data set and what tables clearly. So you need to write them in the documentation, and you should be able to use them as part of your documentation. Clear? And according to the documentation, the developers are going to be creating the data sets and everything. Clear, guys? That's what is very, very important. So after creating a data sets, and we push the things, okay, then before pushing it you create lot of other things. So so you have to create a reports and data sets. Both of them you're going to be having here. One is called report, one is called data set. So data set you need to deploy. Reports and data sets they deploy we publish. The first one is called data set, then on top of that we will have a reports. Clear, guys? So that's what is very, very important. Now you assume that I have implemented lot of DAX queries. I have implemented lots of uh, lot of ETLs, everything is run. Now I did not create any visualizations. Now the data set is ready, cleaned data. Now everything is ready here. Now what I should do? I have to publish. If I wanted to publish, so first you need to save it. If you wanted to publish, you need to save it. Now I go click on save button. So simply click on save this or file save. So I wanted to save this in my D drive first. Go to D drive. I wanted to go to demos folder. So I'm going to be keeping as part of my Power BI in a batch 3. Or we can create any one new folder called 5 Power BI deployment. Okay, Power BI deployment for all these people, right? For all batches. Like that, I create one folder. I give it is Adventure Works sales data set. Okay. So I'm going to be creating Adventure Works sales data set. I know this is less than 10 GB of data. I don't want to split. I don't want to split. So by default, I'm going to be using what? PBIX and PBIT. PBIT is not going to store the data, but I need the data. I want to have PBIX. PBIX means data plus visualizations. I don't have anything visualizations here. I have a pure data. But if you go in for PBIT, it will keep only the visualizations, only the metadata it is going to be keeping, but original data will disappear. So you have to have the PBIX file. Okay. If you wanted to publish, you need to save it. Without saving the locally, you will not be able to, keep everything. So D drive demos 05 Power BI deployment folder. I have created a PBIX file. Clear? Now, if you see carefully in this corner, see in this corner, you will be able to find out. You will be able to find out sign in option in that corner. Okay, in that corner, let me minimize this. Okay, if you see there is a sign in option. So somebody has to sign in order to publish this. If you don't sign in, you will not be able to do that. So click on that corner. You have to click on sign in. So click on this button. So uh, Power BI desktop and Power BI service work better together. Sign into the enhance. So I know the email ID that I'm using, Power BI Bhaskar at the rate go online trainings. Guys, I'm having bad cold and cough. Sorry for it. And PBA Bhaskar, goonlinetrainings.com. So I wanted to give these credentials, and it is going to be asking me the password and signing into this. It is going to be opening one more window. So I'll give you some more user IDs. Okay. So I'm going to be using this user ID only. And the password, I have to know it. Without the password, I will not be able to sign in. So Power BI desktop now signing into what? Power BI service. You're creating a link between your desktop software to the link. So now if you see carefully, you are able to get my full name here. Have you seen this? So my complete name, you're able to get it. Now click on what? Publish. So in which workspace? Select a destination workspace. Just now, I have created a workspace. So you need to select one workspace. Okay. So what I am creating? Am I creating a visualization? No, I am creating only the data set. I am first, putting it there and select this and publishing Adventure Works sales dataset.pbx to Power BI service. So this is what step number one. You should be able to do it. So success. Have you seen this success? So you're able to get it. So you can create a portrait view, blah blah blah. It is saying so. Got it. So that's fine. It will go. Now I have signed in. When you sign in, then only you will be able to see. If you don't sign in, when you sign out like this, it will say sign in. Sign in means you did not sign in. You will not be able to deploy or publish or share. Publish, share or deploy cannot happen here. Now you have to definitely do this step. Clear? So if you want to publish, first you need to save it. So after saving it, you have to go sign in. Continue. Give the user ID and password. Now you go. You should be able to refresh. You will be able to get a data set here. Okay. So you will be able to see the data sets. So all content, okay, only the content and data set plus data flow. So data set I have created, it is able to show you the data set. So later we create using a data set, then we create lot of reports. Using a reports, we create a dashboards. Clear? We create lot of reports and everything. So using a data set, we create a report. Using a report, we create a dashboard. What is a report? What is a dashboard? So all of them will understand. Report means what? Report means, a project will have multiple pages, right? All pages are called, it's a report. Report means project. Clear? Data set means you know clearly. What is a data set? It is a Power Query plus Power Pivot. I did not include any visualization there. So this is what is the step number, one. So you go to workspaces. You will be able to find your workspace. Double click on this. You will be able to get this one. So if you create any reports, that reports are, will come here. For example, you go create lot of visualization. Page one, page two, page 3. If you create any reports here, those reports are going to be coming as part of your workspace. You will be able to come to this workspace. This workspace will be given to the end user. So this workspace that we are creating, it is for the end user to use it. But sometimes I wanted to use some temporary workspace that I don't want to share it to the end user. So one temporary workspace you will be able to have by default. That is what is called what is that? When you go here, So you will be able to see the workspaces here, right? So these are the we created user-defined workspaces. Then you will see one more workspace, my workspace. This is a temporary workspace. So these are for the end user to use it. But sometimes before putting my report here, I wanted to test it by keeping my reports temporarily for some space, and I would like to test them. So that is what is called my workspace. My workspace is a temporary workspace or a predefined workspace. You can keep your report first here and you test it. If everything is properly happening, then you're going to be moving the actual data or actual content to your workspace. Clear? So when you go, you will be able to find out two types of workspaces. One is called these are called workspaces, then my workspace. My workspace is a temporary or a predefined workspace. Predefined, these are user defined workspaces that you create. So it is user to use it. It is user to use it. But sometimes I don't want to give my reports. I would like to use this and view by myself. I don't want to share the reports to anyone else. I wanted to keep it here temporarily and see everything is working fine or not. For testing purpose, we use this. Once everything is over, then we create a workspace. We move all the reports here. Clear? You have a workspaces. One is called, these are called user-defined workspaces. Then is a predefined workspaces called, temporary workspace. Clear? So these are the two things that you need to understand. So today we created a AdventureWorks dataset, share this project, and we create a Power BI service. And tomorrow we'll continue further. So if you want to work with this, definitely you need to have a URL pbi dot. What is the URL? URL already app.powerbi.com. But the credentials I need to give, user and passwords, probably today or tomorrow, you will be able to get them in the class. I will announce. I will give you user ID and password. User1 at the rate goonlinetrainings.com. User2 at the rate goonlinetrainings.com. So you can take one of the user ID and with the credentials, you should be able to deploy your reports. So all the reports you will be able to find out as part of user1 namespace, because every user ID will have a different. For example, you create a user ID in Amazon, you will see your products, whatever you purchased, you see only that. If I'm logging into Amazon.com, I'll see my products which I purchased. Say yours is different, mine is different, right? So like that, every user ID is unique. So whatever I deploy using Power BI Bhaskar, now it is available only to me. Now tomorrow, I wanted to give it to my boss. Who's my boss? My boss email ID is john at the rate goonlinetrainings.com. So when the John joins, he should be able to see the my reports which are created and kept in my folder. Clear? So I have to give access to that user also. User 1, user 2, user 3, or John, whoever it is. So that is also, I'll show you how to create a workspace we had learned, how to deploy we had seen today, and tomorrow we'll see how to give the permissions to the different users, and so that whenever they log in, they can also see your reports. Clear? And we also see a lot of other things, how to create a dashboard and everything. And before creating a dashboard, you should know that how to create a dashboard. What is a dashboard? If you want to create a dashboard, first you need to create a data set. This is what we have done it. So reports we need to create. What is the reports? Page 1, page 2, page 3, visualization. Those are called reports. Using reports, we create a dashboard. Clear? So as of now, you concentrate only on this, then we'll go further and we'll discuss a lot many things. Clear? So this is introduction to Power BI service, how to save a data set, how to create a data set, how to save, and how to deploy, and how to create a workspace we had discussed today. So next we'll continue further.